TaylorMade have worked with some of the best players in the world on tour to find out precisely what they're looking for when it comes to wedges. Now, the new advanced machine processing of the mill grind wedge allows them to get the leading edge and the sole perfect every time. And utilizing this machine processing, they've created 3 unique bounces to fit 3 types of golfer. So Piers, over to you.
Over to me, right, okay, so there's 2 main questions you need to ask yourself when you want to decide what wedge you should be using. Now, the first thing is the golf course that you play at. So if you're on a golf course where the fairways are very tight and the bunkers, there's not a lot of sand in them, Andy, we know the ones, you want to be looking towards then having a lower bounce option. Obviously, if you're on a golf course where the grass is a little bit thicker and there's a lot of sand in the bunkers, then you want to be looking towards the higher bounce option. So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Then we need to look at the divots that you take as a result of your swing style. So if you have we see obviously the 3 different options, but if we went with the standard one first of all, we'd see a swing which would pretty much be on plane, and we take that sort of dollar size bill divot, then obviously you're fitting into that standard sort of bounce position. But then when we start talking about the steep divots, the really big divots that we often see with a lot of golfers when they're playing the wedge shots, that's because we're seeing this very steep downswing where the shaft is leant forward, often the golf ball is back in the stance at setup, and obviously that big divot there, that's when we need to be looking towards that higher bounce on that wedge. Then when we're looking at the shallower option, we often see that maybe people are playing a little bit of a draw on their wedges when they're doing this, Andy, but the club as it interacts with the ground, it's not really taking a divot out. You can see the shaft there is actually pretty much going straight up as opposed to being well leant forward. But definitely those divots there will give you a really good key indicator along with the golf course that you play on what wedge you should be picking.